Welcome.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Prolific Hub podcast.
Yay, yay. Rename, rebrand, new year, new us.
I'm your girl, Aaliyah Cheyenne.
And I'm your girl, Tasha Marie.
All right, and we sincerely want to apologize for the audio quality the last episode. We are getting back in the groove of things, so I'm really hoping that this sound will be much better and come through much better. But yeah. So we owe you guys an update. Last episode we were tripping. And how did it go?
It was a trip. I mean, I didn't get any messages from the ancestors, but I think that the ancestors wanted us to laugh.
I think so too.
It was a jolly kind of trip.
Yeah. I definitely feel like a little bit of a goofball. It's important to set intentions and stuff, but I'm listening back, I'm like, ooh, downloads, messages about this, that, and the third. And all we did was lie on the floor the whole time and giggle. I thought I was like unlocking a speech impediment because I was like, a stutter came out that I didn't know I had every time I tried to speak.
Did that even qualify as a stutter? It was more like,
Wait. Yeah. I feel like my voice and my brain were like operating in vibration. I don't know. I was just kind of like, like trying to get words out. So it was interesting. It was also interesting to go through like the waves of feeling high.
Yeah.
Because there were some moments where I felt like I was falling into it and I was trying to like be present and aware of my body when certain things were happening. Like maybe my heart was racing or I felt myself getting like a little bit more loopy. I was trying to track when I felt myself falling into it versus when I felt like, damn, is it over? And I went through that about like 3 times before I realized like, oh, it's not over. It's just kind of going in waves, kind of. Because the last time I thought I was coming out of the high, I definitely went back into it.
Yeah. It did hit in waves. It did hit in waves. It was different. Like, it was different from my other trips. Like, other trips that I've had, I've like seen colors, like things moving and breathing. I don't know, maybe those mushrooms are just old. I had them for a little minute.
Damn, Daniel.
But I mean, it did suffice in the realm of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was much needed that weekend.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much needed laughter and
For
good
real.
energy. I feel like we needed it. So yeah, highly recommend.
Yeah.
Doing some shrooms every now and then. Yeah, so we have some exciting things coming up. Won't make any huge announcements just yet, but we have a really dope interview coming up that we're really excited about.
Super excited.
We need the applause on the stage. Like,
did you hear it?
Yes.
I can never hear it whenever I push it.
Damn, that's crazy. I heard it though. So that'll be really exciting. So stay tuned for that. We are still working on getting things up and running for Patreon, but make sure you are keeping an eye out for that because it will be coming soon. That's one way to definitely support not just the pod, but our larger vision for the Prolific Hub, home for creatives. So we wanted to talk a little bit about our dream lives, what that looks like, what that feels like in our body. And a lot of that ties into like what we're working toward, what we're building individually and together. And yeah, just having a little dream building activity. So I think that'll be the focus of this episode.
Yep.
So I think what sparked this for me was a while back. For those of you who know who Tabitha Brown is. She's an influencer. She garnered a lot of just followers and attention as to the pandemic, but especially during the pandemic because she got on TikTok and she was doing a lot of vegan recipes, and she had always dreamed of being an actress. And she talks a lot in interviews and in her book about how that dream just wasn't being realized for a really long time, but she kept trusting and having faith that someday it would happen. And fast forward like a decade or more, she got one of her biggest acting gigs. She has her own like kids show now. She has a spice line, like just a whole bunch of things transformed. Like some of you may have seen her in a short role on The Shy, when Keisha first had her baby and wanted to give her up for adoption. That's Tabitha Brown playing that character. So what kind of sparked this idea? She was doing some reflection like back in 2023, like an old Facebook post had come up and she was talking about how, you know, she had this vision and this plan for herself back then, and to now fast forward in life and see that she's living her dream is really exciting, and to get little messages of support and alignment from her mom, from heaven. And I was just like, what a spectacular feeling that is, to know that you envisioned a life for yourself, you strived toward it, you manifested it, you took small steps and aligned action to make it a reality, and to be living in that reality and look back on the version of yourself that was just dreaming about it. And I thought that was so beautiful. So we wanted to dive into that energy for this episode because I think it's real for us. I'm sure it's real for y'all listening. Like, this is something we all experience. So yeah, that's what kicked off the idea. So Tasia, what does your dream life look like to you?
Ultimately, my dream life looks like to me not working for anyone. So I'm a creator. If any of you all are familiar with my artwork, I love creating. Currently on a creative hiatus. It's just a lot going on in the real life that is like blocking my creative realm. But in my dream life, like I would just love to paint. I've got my clothing line. Love to create clothing. Um, just be a creative and like have a space for creatives to come together and actually be able to create. Hence the prolific hub. What we're working towards.
So we've definitely started taking baby steps towards that. Yeah, dream life. I don't want the regular 9 to 5. Like, there's nothing regular about a 9 to 5. First of all, there's nothing regular about being on this hamster wheel that we call life, and like having to go to work 9 to 5 and work for someone else and work towards their dreams and their goals. While your dreams and your goals are kind of put on hold. So I just want to be able to create and create a space for other creatives to come together and be able to create. And ultimately, entrepreneurship is the biggest goal. Being able to be my own boss.
I think there's both end. I think everyone lives their own life. At the end of the day, I don't think it's I think for some people the 9 to 5 works, and for some people it doesn't. For some people entrepreneurship works, and for some people it doesn't. So and for some people not working at all works. And for some people it doesn't. So I think it's just on everyone to find their own path. I feel like for me, I've always worked for someone else to build someone else's vision and contribute to someone else's vision. And I'm now in an era where I want to give myself the opportunity to build my own vision and my own ship and see where that takes me. I love the idea of leaning into that and building something great that, provides opportunities to people in my community, that is a resource for people in my community who are creative and who would love to utilize that space for what it's intended for. And yeah, we're wildly optimistic and delusional.
Low key delusional.
and putting the effort in to make it a reality. But, you know, I also, I live in the dream world, but I'm also grounded in reality. I also keep in mind that there are some people who take off right away and see immediate success, and I really hope that that will be us. I'm also grounded in the fact that most successful entrepreneurs that you see today have failed multiple times before getting there. Some of them have been putting work in for a decade before they saw six, you know, like, so I keep both in mind, but I still feel wildly optimistic that what we speak for ourselves, what we put action behind, we can make tangible in reality. So my dream life looks like building my own ship, having control and flexibility over my time, you know, in my own way. I think it's one thing to be working a job, and for some people, you know, you can do your work day and have separation at the end of the day. And then there are some people, you do your work day and there's no separation between the end of your work day and your, you know, like, it just depends. And I feel like I'm in an era where if I am going to be working around the clock or constantly concerned about anything, it probably needs to be my own thing for right now.
Word.
So that's where I'm at. But ultimately, even that is not even my end goal. My dream life is, again, to have control over my time and freedom. And that doesn't look like being tied to anything long term. So, yeah, I love the idea of getting something, a well oiled machine, up and running. The point that it can sustain and run itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the flexibility to do as I please when I please, knowing that this thing that I built is carrying me and others and supporting us. So, yeah, my dream life also includes more travel, more connection to my body and to health. Like, that's something I've struggled with being consistent about. And I feel like in this new era of building my dream life, I want to be recommitted to that. So, looks like a lot of things. And at the end of the day, everyone's dream life is different. There's some people who have really grand goals and dreams for what they want to achieve. And then there are other people who, you know, if they can meet their needs and have a hot meal every day, that is good enough for them. So I think this era is all about pursuing what is possible for each of us in our own dream lives to the best extent that we can, given the conditions of the world, because that shit makes it hard. So, yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So I guess one other thing is I've spoken before about, I think, a recap of the Unruly Retreat with Sheila Marie last year, but there's an activity we practice called quantum jumping, and it's a form of visualization and meditation where you envision your higher self, your future self, and you spend some time with that version of yourself to get some answers for what you need right now. So it's something I highly recommend looking into as a practice. It's something I do as often as I can when I remember to just try to get guidance for the things I need in my life right now. And it's called quantum jumping. There's a whole book about it. I forget the author's name, but that's Googleable. And it's a really good practice for people who are into visualization and meditation that I would recommend, because sometimes the answer we're looking for is already there. It's inside of us. We just have to tap into that energy.
Word.
Yeah.
That's real. That's real. Also, like touching base on your holistic, like wellness, personal wellness as well. Like I've definitely let my personal wellness fall to the wayside. Like, so yeah, that's another thing that I want to venture into in this new chapter, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important because it takes a balance, physical, spiritual, mental, like everything balances each other. And one thing, I'm not currently in therapy right now for one main reason that we'll talk about eventually. But anyone who knows me personally knows I'm a huge advocate for therapy in this very fucked up world and system we live in. Sometimes it's a really good support system to help navigate everything, but something I used to juggle with my therapist all the time is why whenever I'm feeling a certain way, the first thing that goes is my self-care.
Mhm.
When usually that's when I need it the most when I'm going through something, and can never kind of pinpoint the answer to that. It's just always the easiest to let go of myself, I guess, when everything else in life is coming up and weighing me down, which is crazy. So I want to get back to a place where I'm doing the opposite of that. Like, shit could be burning around me. And I still want to be able to not let go of myself first. Because at the end of the day, myself is what I have. So, yeah, definitely a challenge. And my dream version of myself, my dream life, like, that is a version of Aaliyah that takes care of herself. So I need to step into her and stop playing games.
Yeah. Definitely. I know we did like the shrooms for like, say this word because it's the name of another podcast.
Oh,
But we did it for fun and fun.
Okay.
But I was gonna say shits and stuff. But also like moving forward, my dream life, like I've really been interested in ketamine therapy. It really helps with depression and anxiety. And I think it also unlocks additional neural paths in your brain. We only use like 10% of our brain, which is crazy to me.
Like at a given time, I think.
Like
different parts light up for different things.
Yeah, we don't utilize the full extent of our brain. So like I really am interested in that ketamine therapy because I think it will kind of change like my view on exactly like you said, like when we're stressed, like self-care goes first. Like when I'm stressed, I just be like, fuck is life, fuck everything. Like, and unfortunately, like my overall health is a part of that as well. So, doing mushrooms is not just, I'm doing it just to get high. Like, I really, every time I've had a trip, I've been very intentional about it. In hopes to open up some new paths and get some answers, or some downloads, as you would say.
Yeah.
But the ketamine therapy is definitely a part of something that I want to take a part of. And I will be taking a part of it. So when I do that, you guys will get that Patreon episode.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And we are by no means experts on anything. We're not giving medical advice. We're just sharing our experiences and what we want to try. So, yeah, look forward to sharing more of that journey as things progress.
For sure.
I think the other aspect of wanting a dream life is just constantly like yearning for more. Like I've seen so many stories of people like meeting their goal and they can't even sit in enjoying that because they're constantly worried about meeting the next goal and raising the next bit of money and making the next bit of profit and gaining the next amount of followers and and I want to make sure I always challenge myself to stay grounded and not constantly be yearning for more, to like learn to be present and grateful in the moment so that when my dream life does come, I'm not like immediately hopping into, okay, I've achieved it. What is the next iteration of my dream? And that's not to say that we don't give ourselves permission to grow and evolve and change, because we can reinvent ourselves as many times as we want to. That's what life's about. Like,
yes,
nobody can tell you what to do. Like, be who you want to be, reinvent yourself as many times as you want to. But I also want to challenge myself to be present and grateful for moments of ease now. For moments of taking care of myself now, for moments of pursuing my passions now, so that as I'm building my dream life, I'm not rushing to the next best thing. So you see so many folks, it's like, it's never enough for them. They can conquer the whole world and it still wouldn't be enough. And that's not who or how I want to be. So that's something I'll be thinking about too.
Ditto.
Yeah. Well, I guess our last dream, in addition to building the hub and everything else, is our dream for this podcast. Like we said it in the last episode, is we really want to just continue to build community. That's a big dream that we have for this pod, building community. So we are looking forward to realizing that dream and building it and growing it and making it happen.
Yes.
All right, y'all. So we'll leave you off with our mental wealth tip of the week, which is to explore daydreaming. Not the condition, like maladaptive daydreaming, whatever it is, because I see that all over TikTok, but like allow yourself the space and capacity to dream. I feel like so many things in life weigh us down and make it hard for us to even tap into creative energy and dream and try to do things. And we are encouraging you, even if it's a minute, even if it's right before bed, right when you wake up in the morning, randomly throughout the workday, whatever it is, steal a moment or many to yourself and just allow yourself to daydream and dream and think about, what it is you want for yourself and what your dream life looks like.
Sure. A lot of us live inside our heads. So if you're like me, you live inside your head, just try to make it a beautiful space. Think about manifestation is real. So like sometimes it's hard, but speak great words into your mind, into reality, into the universe, because everything that you speak, everything that you think, it translates into something. So yeah, manifest that beautiful life.
Yeah, I love it. Well, this was a short one, but thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Prolific Hub podcast.
Catch y'all next time.
We will catch y'all later. Have a great week. Bye.